Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are in the midst of a crazy spoiler season. We had Assassin's Creed Universes Beyond, Bloomburrow, even had Duskmorn, which is crazy because I have never seen a standard set spoiled, then the next standard set also spoiled in such quick order. But today we are back to Bloomburrow spoilers. In prior videos, I spoiled and discussed some cards from Bloomburrow, but thanks to Maro's blogatog on Tumblr, we got insight into several key words that will be featured on cards in Bloomburrow. And today I'll share them with you too, and we'll go through them together. First off, we have a wording reveal. We have the following: a new mechanic, which is a tweak on a mechanic from 2013. So, way back in 2013, the new sets that released that year, new block, was the Theros block. And from Theros, we got Devotion, Bestow, Heroic, and Monstrosity. Now, I think we can rule out Devotion. I don't see Epic Gods being a factor on a furry little critters plane. Same with Bestow, as that implies supreme beings granting power. Now, Heroic, it's definitely possible. Again, here the key wording is a new mechanic, just a tweak on a mechanic from 2013. So it won't be word for word, and most likely won't be called Heroic and or Monstrosity. But I don't see Heroic being much of a thing here. There is maybe some hero creatures. You got that Crag Flame, little mouse, little lady mouse, I suppose. The one I'm leaning towards here is definitely Monstrosity. Again, it's going to be reworded. So a new take, tweaked version of Monstrosity maybe enters the battlefield with counters on it. This time, instead of the 1/1 counters, they get things like trample counters, death touch counters, flying counters, some new effects, some new things, basically kind of like what we saw in Ikoria, counters that get abilities on creatures besides just buffing them in terms of power and toughness. We've also got Destroy Target Creature, a spell with only this rules text, gets a new mana cost. Okay, there's removal in just about every set, so not a big deal. Cycle of Uncommon Lands, of each reference of 4 creature types. Those were already spoiled. Counters in the set. Some new ones here. We got Blight, Coin, Finality, Flood we've seen before, Flying, Indestructible, Loyalty, Stash, Stun, and Supply. So, loyalty counters, that's Planeswalkers. We know that already. We know what those are. Stash, I have not seen. Stun, I believe that's a thing. And supply counters, haven't seen that. Although there are those storage lands that were in Fallen Empires. So that would be interesting to see. Maybe now they're going to a supply wording. And we got non-creature subtype makes its first return. I'm thinking this is definitely formerly known as Tribal, now being known as Kindred. We thought it might be Typal, but it is now Kindred. So we are getting not Tribal, Kindred is my guess. I think that is definitely, you know what, scratch that. I'm going to go ahead and say that it is definitely Kindred. We are returning to Lorwyn, which I can't wait for, in the coming year. And that is definitely going to be a factor in this set, so why not bring it back now? A 10-card cycle that acts as a Typal glue. Now, I'm wondering if this is a cycle of cards that interact with various creature types, possibly the tutors for various creature types, as we saw in Lorwyn, Romero Harbinger, Giant Harbinger, etc., something like that. 2 mechanics that came out of the same set. Return each part of a 2-color archetype. The word squirrel shows up 4 times in a rules text. That seems a little redundant and silly. A mythic cycle with a new symbol. So I know what that could mean. It's mythics for the set, but they have a new symbol. So maybe something sort of like the breaking news, but it's in universe and actually considered standard. And one of the cutest mechanics you've ever made. Well, that could be anything given the variety of cute critters. And some more. Create X tokens that are copies of target token you control. This one's funny. If you control a raccoon, you may discard a card. So I've got love for raccoons, finally. Creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1. We've seen cards that do that, such as Humble, very old card. Whenever one or more of the creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying. Now, that's an interesting clause, as it severely limits creatures that have keyword abilities that whenever a creature leaves the battlefield, it just leaves it open. So if it leaves the battlefield without dying. So if it's flickered, bounce back to the hand, exiled, then it triggers, but dying won't. So this can be a limiter for some cards. If it's a first instant or sorcery spell, the first sorcery spell, the first otter spell, all the otter options here. A flood counter, we've seen that before in Aquatex Will, again, a Lorwyn Morningtide block card. Where X the number of creatures your opponents control that were exiled this turn. For each squirrel or food you control, okay. As long as there are 4 more card types among cards exiled with this card. Of the one target artifact, creature, or planeswalker opponent controls, lose all abilities till end of turn. That's kind of like a humble or a, I'm guessing it's going to be an aura. You slap it down, that creature becomes a potato and it can't do anything. Moving on. Creature type lines from the set. Now this is fun. Hamster Citizen, Frog Advisor, Skunk Assassin. That's cool. Raccoon Berserker, Squirrel Warlock Bard. How can it be both? A Rabbit Mouse. So we got some cross-breeding, interspecies breeding. Weird. Badger Warrior, Weasel Mercenary, Elemental Elk, and Bird Dragon. So Bird Dragon. I think Bird Dragon is going to be Sarkhan Vol. Bloomburrow is the first set of a new story arc called the Dragonstorm arc. We are going back to Tarkir, I believe, in 2025, and Bloomburrow is part of the Dragonstorm arc. So I believe, what's his name? Sarkhan comes to Bloomburrow, and the creature he becomes closest to his type is a bird, because dragons don't exist on Bloomburrow. That would be too OP, given all the small furry critters. But then again, he could just be a lizard. That would actually be a reptile. But then again, they do say that all dinosaurs evolved into birds. Birds are a cousin of dinosaurs, so logic. I'll leave that alone. But I think that's Sarkhan. Pin it. Finally, some names of cards in the set. These are lovely, I think. Crumb and Get It. Festival of Embers. Hop to it. That's got to be a rabbit typal card. Kidnap. Playful Shove. Polywop? That's going to be fun to say. Rabid Gnaw. Shrike Force. Boar Squeak. Wishing Well. I feel like Wishing Well was already a name. And what was that thing? The first Eldraine? Maybe? Anyway, that's it. Quite a list. I thought I'd just take the time, read them to you, so you don't have to read them. I read them so you don't have to. What do you think all of these things imply? What are you looking forward to seeing in Bloomburrow? Don't forget to smash that like button and let me know in the comments what you see here, what you think these are, and what you think this set should be. Anyway, catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.